Okay, Geometry, Unit I. So this is A.1 Identify, hypotheses, and conclusions. No, this isn't English. No, it's not science. But it's kind of science related. You kind of need to know how to deduct and infer which possibilities could happen and couldn't happen. So that's basically what this is. So the good thing about IXL on these lessons is if you had a textbook and I gave this to you as homework, you would be writing out every single sentence and basically dissecting it. But thankfully in IXL, it's basically just multiple choice. So you just have to be able to make the good choice. Okay? Now, we are going to be using if-then statements. If-then statements. And what that is, if you have an if, or if you have a then, it's called a conditional statement. All right? So whenever it says what's the hypothesis for the conditional, you're kind of just looking for the word if, or the word then, if it says for the conclusion part. And maybe sometimes it doesn't give you those, but it gives you other things. So what is the hypothesis? The hypothesis is the part that usually comes after the word if. Here is the word if. So what comes after the word if? Right triangle has sides lengths of 3 and 4. So that's the hypothesis. So that's what you're going to be picking. What is the conclusion? The conclusion always comes after the word then, or usually comes after the word then. So we're going to do that. If Vera drops the vase, then it breaks. The conclusion basically says what happens if something else happens. So it breaks. The vase breaks. So basically you have to determine what parts will come on, or what parts will have to happen first before something else will have to happen. What is the conclusion of this conditional statement? Since Brian is since Brian is riding a bicycle, he must wear a helmet. Okay. Not because this is in the beginning, but because this is what happens for Brian to be able to wear a helmet. He has to be riding his bicycle. So the since is an if. If you see the word since, it's the if, and so we want the conclusion, so he must wear a helmet. The word if and then does not have to be in the statement to be implied. You just have to figure out which words imply the if and the then. Okay. Today is Monday. Therefore, I have to go to school today. Therefore means this is going to happen because this is happening. So this is your conclusion. You have to go to school because it's Monday. What is the hypothesis? So we're looking for the if part of it. A polygon has more than 4 sides, so it is not a triangle. The so is then. So this is the conclusion. We want the hypothesis. So more than 4 sides has to be the hypothesis. A person who grew up in France speaks French. We want the hypothesis. I mean, even if you don't grow up in France, you could speak French if you went to French school, right? Or French class. So speaking French isn't the hypothesis. Growing up in France, usually most people that grow up in France are going to speak French, so that's going to happen first. Okay. So if you get problems and you don't know if it's an if or a then, let me give you a list of some of them. If you see the words as long as, because, assuming, given, whenever, every time, and since. That's my list of ifs. I'm not saying that that's every one of them, but that's a pretty good list. The thens, therefore, consequently, so, result, accordingly. That's it now. So you have 3 videos for this one, but all of them are pretty short, so deal with it. See ya.